Hi, I'm Ryan Lee. I'm the therapeutic author. And today's, again, another important day for me. I'm with the founder of Croydon Community Leaders. Now, the reason why this interview is important for me, because when I met this person, it was almost like, you know at school, yeah, when you meet a teacher and that teacher you resonate with that teacher and you know that they wish the best for you. As a child, you get that sense. When I met this person, I got that same vibe, and I knew that in terms of the work she's doing in the community and her intention and heart, it was in alignment with my intention and my goals. So naturally, this interview was formed, and I'm happy to have this person on my platform. So I welcome Renee.
Hi guys, my name is Renee.
How are you, Renee?
I'm good, thank you, Ryan, and thank you for having me. Actually, this is it's a nice opportunity actually to speak with you as well.
It's an honor. It's an honor. For those that do not know you, talk to me a bit about what you do and your company.
So, hey guys, I'm Renee Lord Lindsay. I am the founder and managing director for Croydon Community Leaders, and it is a CIC. So CIC, it was founded in 2016.
Okay.
So founded it in 2016 because I had just read up about Black Wall Street, actually, funny enough, and the values and the inspiration that I took from it. I was like, my gosh, why can't Croydon do this, right? So the values that I took from it were things like the community empowerment, the community organization, and the community action. For those who don't know about Black Wall Street, go and read it up. But for me, I was like, this is something that Croydon could channel. And we have so many good things going for us here in Croydon. And
100%. I
just felt like it would be a great opportunity to create a platform of empowerment and to organize that into constructive action. So it was started just from an idea and it kind of birthed itself and it went from strength to strength, and we are where we are now, and I'm really happy and proud of what we've been able to create in terms of the platform and the impact in the Croydon and wider community.
Yep. So was there a particular experience that led you to want to start working within the community?
I would say so. Definitely, it was a personal experience.
Okay.
So I actually had a family member who was engaged with a local charity called Turning Point. So Turning Point does substance and alcohol misuse.
Okay.
And my background is in marketing.
Okay.
So my background's in marketing, and I had this family member who needed to engage with this charity and their services, and they wasn't, basically. So I took myself down to the charity and I said, how can I help? What do you need? Because, your service users aren't just the individuals who need your service. Their target audience could also be the families of people who need your services. So how can I help to strengthen the good work that you do as well to make it more impactful for the individual who's my family member and for the wider community, so that they were aware of their services. And I went in there, and if I'm honest, I could see where they needed the help. I could see where they needed the help, and I could see where they needed the support. A lot of charities and non-profits across the voluntary sector have a smaller budget in terms of their marketing and advertising. And I just felt like it was really important that if I could go in there and give them my skills, my lived experience, I could just strengthen the great work that they were doing. So I came across Turning Point, and then I realized there was a breadth of organizations here in Croydon working to do great work. And then also there's so many people who wanted to give back, but didn't know how or where to start. And I was like, okay, there's a gap here. There's absolutely a gap in the market, and how can I blend that together with the values that I took from Black Wall Street? Because even though I was inspired by Black Wall Street, what we do as an organization wasn't for people just of African and Caribbean communities, especially in an area like Croydon where it's super diverse.
Very diverse,
it's
right.
absolutely massive. We're from the areas of Norbury all the way down to Coulsdon, Caterham. So many different communities. I was like, there's just got to be something we could do to bridge that gap together. So I think for me, that was my inspiration, seeing that there was a gap in the market between the voluntary sector and them reaching the people who needed their services and the people who weren't aware of their services and the people who wanted to give back but didn't know how or where to start.
Okay, so your background is marketing.
Yes.
And in everything you're doing, it's like you're merging that within to the CIC.
Yes.
So tell me, for the audience that don't know what a CIC, what is a CIC?
So a CIC is a community interest company. So basically that means you're registered on Companies House, but then you actually have access to grants and public funds so you can do good work in the interest of the community. So you basically function as a social enterprise, so to speak.
Okay, okay, brilliant, brilliant. So how is your CIC, Croydon Community Leaders, helping young people and adults in a practical way?
So I guess it's good to start with where we started.
Okay.
So even in the name, you know, we just wanted to kind of give people a platform who are from Croydon, who are doing great work in the community, whether that meant you owned a business or did something in the voluntary sector, you're giving back. And to me, that made you a leader. So for me, it was just a title, actually. You know, Croydon Community Leader is something that people could say, you know, with the chest, I'm a Croydon Community Leader, I run a business, or I'm a Croydon Community Leader, I run a non-profit. And with that, I was like, you know, let me look at the local issues that affect people. So we actually started off with something called a Stakeholder engagement program.
Okay.
So just to give a bit of definition, a little bit
no
on
problem.
that.
Yeah, definitely.
So in a company, you have shareholders, people who will purchase shares of a company, and that's how they've invested. But a stakeholder is someone who has a stake in what you do.
Okay.
So everybody in the Croydon Borough is a stakeholder of Croydon Council.
Okay.
Because we have a stake in Croydon Council doing well.
Okay.
And if they don't do well, we have a stake in that too, because it affects us in a sense. And one of the stakeholder engagement programs that we first started was actually our outreach teams.
Okay.
And that was birthed out of a need of a rise in knife crime.
Okay.
And a rise as a result in stop and search, which we knew obviously vastly affected people from African and Caribbean communities or minority communities. And those were the people who reached out to us the most at the time. So, you know, they were sending us videos of people being stopped and searched. Everywhere you looked at a time, knife crime was on the rise. And a lot of people were really frustrated at Sadiq Khan for increasing stop and search as a result of knife crime. And I was like, okay, we've got this community who they've got a stake in what's happening. How can I help them engage in a constructive way? Because very often when people saw these videos of stop and search in particular, you didn't get to see the context of what happened before the video. And they got no closure after the video stopped. So I said to myself, okay, what can I do to help those people so that they're not as, you know, feeling as emotionally helpless when it came to this issue. So we asked members of the community if they would like to join outreach teams. And we approached the local Met and we said to them, look, can we go out on your ride-alongs? Can we do weapon sweeps with you guys? Can we practically engage members of the community who want to help, who want to give back, but don't know where to start? And that was just a really organic idea. And yeah, people just really took to it really well. We had mothers, fathers, we had ex-gang members who came out with us saying, Renee, you know, we want to give back. And it was a really great experience. It was really organic because, you know, when we go to all these stop and search workshops, I don't know about you, Ryan, but for me, all these rights, they go in one ear and out the other. I can't remember them.
Yeah.
And in this way, because people were practically involved, interactively in something, you know, they would be in the vans with the blue lights going off, running down Derby Road looking for things. That experience stayed with them a lot better than if it was just a workshop. So I realized we kind of had something there. We did that for a few years and we created a really fantastic model that a lot of charities and non-profits we see all over Croydon kind of using as well, which is really great. Not all elements of it, but some elements of it as well, especially in the engagement of community to police.
I think that's a brilliant program that you was running, because for me, I've been on the other side of stop and search growing up. I couldn't tell you, I couldn't count on probably 4 to 5 hands how much times I've been stopped and searched. And psychologically, what it can do for the young people is start to make you feel like you're a criminal when you're not even a criminal.
Yeah, that's it.
So to be able to have these impactful programs that help, it's brilliant.
And that's the thing. I mean, even for yourself, I mean, imagine if you were being stopped and searched, but you had someone like you who was out with the police and they were like, Ryan, you know what? I'm here to keep an eye on what they're doing.
Yeah, somebody that understands not only the language, but understands where you're coming from and has been through it.
Exactly. So it was that alternative form of engagement. So they didn't just have to engage with the police. So we did that for a couple of years just as a proof of concept that we could create a model of engagement for the community and for charities and non-profits. That went really, really well. We've moved on since because loads of other charities and non-profits have been able to come into that space and continue to engage with the police in a really constructive way that supports the community and has a greater impact. So happy to see it.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Yeah, happy to see it.
So in relation to the young people, why is it important for them to understand marketing and entrepreneurship and business?
Yeah. So yeah, as I was saying, we started with stakeholder engagement, and then a few years ago, we changed our business model to focus on the marketing part. Because for me, even though we have access to public funds and such like that, I really wanted to create a business model that traded and that we didn't have to rely on funding and such like that. So as a business, we had to kind of create a business model. And because my background is in marketing, just to give a little bit of a nuanced description of it, marketing is more of the strategic element.
Okay.
And it's the stuff you do before advertising. So before you're making your flyers and your websites and the logos, before we get to
behind the scenes, basically, yes, okay.
Yeah, before we get to all that fun stuff, the marketing element is your business plan. It's actually making sure that you can identify your target audience and that you actually have a strategy for success. Probably more than one strategy too. And when I realized that we could offer that to charities, non-profits and businesses, I realized that so many people needed that specific element.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then everything else we can do, all the content creation, everything afterwards, but it really was important to emphasize those foundational parts for the business, because once a person has that foundation, we have just literally seen them flourish and go from strength to strength. And why it was more important for young people in Croydon was because very often what we're actually hearing is young people, I mean, I don't know about you, but I hear about a lot of programs that focus on CV writing, interview skills, employability, which is fantastic. You know, it's something that young people need. But a lot of young men and women actually want to be employers, not just to be employable.
Very much. I think that's a major point, because essentially, I'm speaking for myself and probably for many other of the youth out here, but it's like you want to be, you've already got that natural urge to be a leader and do things yourself. And a lot of the youth, they start off by taking the wrong path through lack of awareness, in their eyes, maybe lack of opportunity. And a lot of the things they set out doing and start building, although illegal, these transferable skills can basically translate into
being business leaders.
Being business leaders.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, and that's the thing I think people were kind of missing, those transferable skills and how to kind of hone it and give them that autonomy to say, actually, this is how you can run your business. This is what it looks like. And also, you know, just creating a program or something that's flexible for them.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
I think a lot of them are facing a lot of challenging different types of issues, whether it was homelessness, you know, a lot of conflict at home, in their personal lives, conflict with educational processes and such like that. It was just really important for them to have something that actually shows, you know, we're accommodating for them. And actually entrepreneurship does kind of accommodate for them. So we don't tell them, oh, drop out of school or leave your job or anything like that. But we show them an avenue that you can take steps to actually, being a leader and being a business owner yourself. So that part's really been great.
And as I said earlier, I feel like straight away, as I said in the intro, going back from school, you kind of get a sense who is not just there to kind of tick boxes and like let the clock, like they're there because they care. And do you get that impression in terms of when you're working with these younger people that they can kind of feel your heart? Because I kind of, as soon as I sat down with you, I could feel your heart and your intention.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I think so. I think, and that's what comes with, I mean, word of mouth. That has been probably one of our strongest referral points. Like the young boys that we've worked with, they've told their friends and they've told their friends and they kind of keep coming back to us. They stay with us for years. Whereas I find a lot of programs, especially when you're working with high-risk young people, they can tend to disengage quite quickly. Whereas with our young men, they know we're always there for them. They're always there for them. We're flexible. I mean, one of the key elements of one of our entrepreneur programs is that it's 12 months. Like it's
Brilliant.
not 12 weeks, 16 weeks, 12, or anything like that. It's a 12-month program because we know life happens and life gets on top of you. So, you know, if you have 2 months where you've got to sort out your bits in your personal life and
Yeah.
you've got to grind with work, you can do that. But you know, we're here when you come back.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. So tell me a little bit more about this mentoring for Mandem program that you have
Sure.
going on.
Sure. So it was birthed out of working with the young people,
Okay.
actually. Again, we offer, so just to take it back, I guess, the business model is marketing
Okay.
for charities, nonprofits and businesses, stakeholder engagement, and one of those stakeholder engagements is work experience. So I was a student myself when I started the business, so I wanted to give that work experience opportunity back to young people. And a lot of the young men on the work experience program wanted to stay with me for longer. So I said to them, okay, let's figure out if we got something here, there's a gap in the market here. And we found that, yeah, a lot of them actually wanted to start their own business, and they said to me, Renee, like, how can we do it? So we basically created a focus group with a lot of those young men, and I asked them to tell me, what is it you think you need, basically? And we would sit down, we fleshed out the modules, beg your pardon, for the 12 months and everything about the key foundational elements that they would need. I mean, I came up with the name, but the thing is, it's all marketing consultancy. It's literally what I do for the rest of my clients, but I had to call it something different, because I understood my target audience.
Yeah.
I understood what they kind of needed, and we all have a little bit of alliteration.
Yeah.
So, you know, it is mentorship, it is mentoring, and it is for Mandem. I go to a lot of, you know, like corporate events, and I tell them about mentoring for Mandem, and they're like, oh, what's Mandem? Is it that like a gang? And that's when you can tell they're they don't maybe understand the target audience as well. And no, Mandem are just, you know, people from the end.
It's just, yeah. But you know what I think's powerful about that is, like, you're very well articulated because you've been in the circles, but at the same time, you're very in tune with what's going on the ground. So, like, mentoring for Mandem, as you said, some people might not understand that language, but that's on that side. But on this side of the people that you're working with, there's also a new language that you're teaching them. When you're talking about just, for example, funding or stakeholders, this is a brand new language for them that they're unaware of. So what impact have you seen mentoring for Mandem have on these young people?
It's actually been really fantastic, like giving them a platform to empower them and just seeing how they flourish, and they just lean into it so well and so organically as well. So with a lot of the young boys that we've been kind of teaching and building up their confidence, because it's a lot of the life skill things, building their confidence, helping them with their timekeeping skills, keeping them on deadlines, but letting them know, you know, it's okay. If you miss a deadline, we can make it to the next one. So there's two particular young men that I'm quite proud of, and with them we've been able to register businesses and actually develop workshops. So one of them came to me, and it was quite a nuanced case because, again, a lot of programs focus on NEET.
Okay.
So NEET stands for not in education, employment or training. And one of the young men who came to me was in employment. So a lot of the programs that are available wouldn't have been available to him.
Okay.
And he's
He fit
like,
the criteria, basically.
Exactly. He wouldn't have fit the criteria, but he was like, you know what, Renee, I work, but I also want to start my own business, and there are just no providers to help me. Can you help me? And I said, yeah, absolutely. Of course I can. So he started coming in like on a weekly basis. And he said, I've got this idea. I want to have my own property development business. I said, oh, I love it. Big goals. But what I like the nuance of it is he said, I want to go into schools. And I want to teach young people money management. I want to give them, you know, tenants' rights, because they're going to be the future homeowners. So I need them to know what their rights are. I need them to know what the landlord's rights are, so that they'll be good homeowners, and, you know, it'll be sustainable for the long term. And it was just music to my ears in that sense. So I helped him develop workshops around money management, around tenancy rights and such like that. And once he had got to a level of confidence with it, so, you know, we start off small, I'd make them present to me, then present to their group. And then once they presented to their group, I took them into schools. So last year, we took two of those young men, and they taught over 100 young people across Croydon in different schools.
Wow.
Yeah, so they taught them money management, they taught them about their tenancy rights. We did these little interactive workshops on how to do a budget for your home. And what they loved about it is they were like, Renee, the young people said that they want to come work with us. I remember when I was in school and people would come in and I would look up to them, and now I'm the person that they look up to. I never
It's
thought.
powerful.
Yeah.
It's powerful. It's very powerful. And you know what? Just thinking about my reality, it's like a lot of these young people, I like to talk about programs sometimes because they're programmed to think a certain way.
Yes.
So they're programmed also, again, there's like, sometimes they think their options are quite limited, so they go into a, whether it just be hustling or whatever. And even like, for example, if they do start to embark on that, let me speak for my 16-year-old self. You start to do what you're doing, and then as you go along, you start to understand the game, you understand different things. Before, you wouldn't even maybe have known what a scale is or what this is this. Then as time goes on, you start to understand more, and then all of a sudden, you've been in the game for 5 years and you've got so much awareness about how things work. Now, when it comes time to start to operate in the legal realms, because a lot of these people want to do it, but they don't know how to make that transition.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So when you start to operate that, it's almost like having that self-confidence to have to relearn certain things. Some things are transferable, but some things you do have to kind of have an understanding of. And your CIC and what you're doing is giving them that comfortable place where they can adapt and make the changes.
Yes, yeah,
You know
definitely.
what I mean? So it's brilliant.
Thank you. I mean, a lot of them we have positive stories, but sometimes you don't get the positive stories as well.
It's the balance.
It is. So, I mean, you know, I'd be a misstep if I didn't speak about those stories as well, because it's important to honor those types of things too. So we've had some young men, unfortunately, who have disengaged because they're not able to separate from the lifestyle, in a sense, or the challenging issues that they may have. We've had some young men who unfortunately have passed away as a result of those types of things. You know, these aren't things that are the best, unfortunately, but we have to learn from those experiences too, and still honor those people who've, you know, come before and they've not been able to get through the program necessarily, but we still remember them. And we still remember these are the people that we're doing it for. It's not like they're not lost causes or anything like
even
that.
you bringing them into this conversation and space right now is a powerful thing to do.
Yeah, no, I think it's important to still remember them and honor their memories regardless if they made it through the program or what they were kind of going through in their circumstances, because these are the people that we try to accommodate for as best as possible too.
100%. So, the 27th of June, tell me about this event that you've got going and that I am also a part of. Tell me about it. Tell the audience about it.
Sure. So we've got an event Saturday the 27th of June at 1 p.m. and it's called Black Men in Business, Ideas to Income. We are very, very excited. I felt like it was important to kind of showcase for our young men as well, and to showcase them, to celebrate them, the great work that they've done on the program, and then also give them some inspirational speakers like yourself who they can kind of look up to as well. Because again, you know, it's just in the title. You're from Croydon. You do great work in the community, and to me, by default, that makes you a leader. So I want to offer this platform to people like yourself that, the young men can be inspired by and actually hear from, and just give them an organic place where they can kind of like network, hear ideas, and just kind of flesh out their own strategies again and figure out, okay, where am I going for? But I always want them to go from strength to strength if possible. So this is a great way, I think, to showcase those great opportunities and those great qualities that they should kind of be looking up to. So
100%.
looking forward to it.
So, what can the attendees expect from this event?
Okay, so we've got a fantastic panel of people like yourself and some other speakers as well in different areas. So we've got somebody who is the founder of a platform called Style and Sound, which is absolutely fantastic for like creatives in filmmaking, photography, in fashion and arts and such like that, where again he went from different ideas kind of thing and different concepts, and then he held something a couple of years ago called Creative Con, and it was like a 12-hour event. My gosh, it was ambitious, but it was really awesome. He held it in Peckham Levels, and it was just absolutely fantastic, like full of stalls, full of talks and things like that. So hearing from him about his journey, even the missteps that he's made and such like that, and how he's kind of turned it around and created a strategy for success. We've got other people who are business owners as well, who have come from backgrounds in finance and such like that. And also we've got some new founders as well, which will be kind of cool, allowing, just again, giving them that platform to kind of say, this is what I'm doing, this is what I want to do going forward. And we can also like follow their journeys and continue to empower them as well. So that's what we're looking forward to.
Brilliant. So this all sounds positive to me. Has there been any negative feedback in relation to trying to launch such a positive movement?
Unfortunately, yes. You know, we are living in times of extremes.
Okay.
That's what I would say, especially when it comes to social media and the internet and even like the political climate. I won't get too political, but I do love my politics, my people. But yeah, we're living in a time of extremes that doesn't allow for a lot of nuance. And for us, again, we try to accommodate for all because, I mean, I describe myself as a girl who's from the north of the borough, but I grew up in the south of the borough. So when we describe the north, it's areas like Thornton Heath, South Norwood, Norbury and such like that. But I went to school in South Croydon, Wadden, Coulston areas. So for me, I've got a bit of both worlds in that sense. And I mean, in terms of engagement, again, by default, being from a certain community, we engage well with people from our community, but our platform is for all. So even though I don't tell everybody, to be honest, our founding, because when they hear Black Wall Street, they just think we're Black only. And that's the furthest thing from the truth, because our clients, the people that we work with on work experience, they come from all sorts of different backgrounds.
Yeah, because Croydon is a very diverse area.
Very diverse. And actually, before I even go on to what some of the negatives are, to be honest, because we have had some backlash on our event because it's called Black Men in Business. One of the target audience groups that we've wanted to work with and we've worked with through work experience is white working class boys. Okay. So I remember before I started the program, I was based in Lewisham. Okay. And I was part of something called the Civil Leadership Program. And basically I was allowed to go to council meetings. And I remember sitting in an educational meeting and basically they were talking about GCSE results. And how young people of a certain age, once they hit a certain, I think maybe about when they hit high school, the grades were dropping. They were dropping really, really bad. And it was actually bringing down the borough's average. And one councillor asked, he was like, with great care, of course, and consideration, he asked, okay, is it because we're a diverse borough? And we have a lot of non-English speaking people in our community. And the person who's asking the question articulated themselves fantastically and said, well, actually, no. Those immigrant communities are actually doing fantastically well. And unfortunately, it was boys from the white working class background who were actually bringing down the grade average for the borough in an area like Lewisham. And that was just like, it blew my mind, actually. And it showed me the gap. Okay. It showed me a gap in the market that actually maybe these working class white boys needed more support or working white class families needed more support. So for me, for things like our engagement programs, it's something that I do try to kind of reach out to them for and ensure that they know that they have a place here too. But again, looking at the extremes and the times we're living in, people think that when you offer an event like Black Men in Business, you're not being inclusive. In fact, what we're just doing is kind of accommodating for one of our programs and speaking directly to it in that sense. I think, yeah, it's a nuanced thing. And I guess people can be, you know, they feel how they feel and such like that. If I could offer events that supported the white working class, I'd be happy to do so. If there were people from that background who wanted to engage with the platform, we literally have it there for them. They just need to engage with us and we can say, hey, let's do this with you. Let's help empower you as well. Let's flesh out this program and do something for you too. But unfortunately, yeah, we've had some negative posts. We've had some emails about our event. You know, people are not happy that we're doing something called Black Men in Business. So, you know, I have to push on.
Yes, you do, because at the end of the day, you know that your door isn't closed for anyone. You know what your intention is. And you know the saying, when you're doing something positive, there's always going to be people that have negative, and maybe they're looking for a lens where they don't really understand the full spectrum of what you're doing and how you're doing it. Yeah. So The show must go on.
It must do indeed. It does give us something to always take into consideration,
100%.
though. So, if there's anybody who wants to engage or see, feel free, get in touch. This Croydon Community Leaders platform, I built it not for myself. I think that's the important thing. I built it to empower others in the community. So if there are others who want to engage, this platform is for all of you guys, 100%.
So in terms of like the community, what do you think's missing in terms of support support for the younger generation?
I honestly think it's the little things like connecting the dots. So in an area like Croydon, where we have a very robust voluntary sector, when it comes to an issue like homelessness, mental health, youth violence, we've got tons of organisations that are working in these spaces to deliver great work to sort out these issues and such like that. But there's not enough collaboration. There's not enough partnership working.
Yeah, that's where I was going next with it. Yeah. Well, why is I know my CIC is called Express to Progress, and that's one of the reasons why we originally started to speak to see how we could collaborate. But why is collaboration so important?
Because it just strengthens the impact of what we can do for the community.
100%.
I don't believe, me as Renee, I can't do it all. Croydon community leaders cannot do it all. We try to fit into the gaps in the market, but I am always willing to work with other providers to see actually how can we strengthen our reach, our impact, your reach, your impact, what can I do to kind of empower you? I find, especially when you're working in the voluntary sector space, it can create like a lot of competition because people are trying to compete for funding and public funds, which is why a lot of the work that I do is actually building that foundational business model, especially for CICs, because you shouldn't be relying on grants and funding. You should actually, you're a company who operates in the interest of the community, and that's why you have access to public funds.
Okay.
But really, you should have a foundational business model that allows you to operate regardless of public funds. So I think if people were thinking in that perspective, they would even be more resourceful and savvy.
That's a very good nugget and a good gem for people that are thinking about starting CICs. And I think you've been given a bit more understanding of what a CIC is for those that are watching. Yeah, you have. We've got a few more questions, but what is it that keeps you doing the work that you're doing?
Ugh, that one's personal, but I don't know if y'all can see, but God put me here. But no, if I'm being totally honest, I always felt like I grew up in ends.
Okay.
Like I grew up in Croydon, but I grew up in a certain part of Croydon with certain people from Croydon, and I saw a lot of things that made me really unhappy for the people that I grew up with. I've lost a lot of people in Croydon and stuff like that as well through knife crime and stuff, and I wanted better for them, and it was, I think for me, just trying to kind of create a platform that supported people who came from those challenging backgrounds was my first thing. I just wanted to help people and be flexible in how I could help those people facing those challenging issues. And then I had to pray on it, honestly, because I worked full time. It's tough, my people, it is tough. I worked full time for years doing marketing for other charities and other non-profits. And, I haven't nearly been able to create the same impact as I have with my own platform kind of thing. So I kind of had to pray about it, and I let God confirm for me what he wanted me to do.
Yeah.
And once I went full time, as I said, most of my business just went word of mouth, and it just kind of went very, very organically, and these things continue to be affirmations that I'm working in the correct space and such like that. So what kind of keeps me going is seeing the great impact of the programs that we have, seeing the great impact of the marketing work that we're doing for charities and nonprofits, building their capacity, helping them, get their funding and stuff, and just continue the great work that they're already doing, and seeing how that then impacts the community. So even on a grassroots level or on a corporate level, just seeing those things, they keep me going, definitely. And
what have you learned about yourself during this process, this journey?
I have learned, my people, not to be as expressive on social media. No, when it comes to politics, though, more specifically, because I genuinely believe you cannot be involved in a lot of aspects of life and not be aware of politics. So what I learned about myself is I'm very expressive. I'm very passionate about people, which means that's why I'm involved in politics. I had to learn how to channel that. I actually had to learn how to channel that. I think it's great to be expressive. I think it's fantastic to be passionate. But we have to know that, not every space that we're in is conducive to passionate, expressive individuals like myself. You know, a couple of years ago, I got a chance to have an interview, and it was a great interview, but I didn't realize the impact of the interview then meant my portrait was going to get drawn. My portrait was drawn and put in the Croydon Museum for my impact in the community, and then it was honored in the National Portrait Gallery.
Wow.
And they asked me to have they were like, oh, what's one word we can put on your portrait? And I said, restless. Because I'm a restless individual. I'm restless about wanting to do great work and wanting to do this. And I wanted not for restlessness to have a negative connotation, because a lot of these young people, they're quite restless. You know, they may not seem like they're focused. And I was very much like that in school. Like, I found it hard to focus and you know, keep still and have that kind of focus. But actually, if I could channel that passion, if I could channel that expressiveness, if I could channel my restlessness into something constructive, then it can have great work, great impact, and even for myself, a sense of peace as well. So that's kind of what I've learned about myself. It's not bad to have these attributes or anything, and I shouldn't knock myself for it. I just need to be mindful and constructive with it and have it put into a certain focus.
You know, you just took me back into the therapy room when you spoke about the word restless, and it's like in therapy practice, it's like we always try to find out what your definition of that word means to you. And that's what it reminded me of. It's like restless might have been, I took a negative approach or set off, but in the way that you're using it and you're able to describe it, and also what you were just talking about in relation to being able to fine tune an energy. It's like, it's not good or bad. It's like a fire, for example. It can heat up a room.
Yes.
Or it can burn down a building. Yeah. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Last question. What would you say to a young person that's struggling to find their direction right now in this climate?
I would say take a meaningful amount of time to know yourself. Great. I would definitely tell them because right now when I'm working with a lot of young people, you know, I'm asking them, what do you want to do? What inspires you? And they're like, oh, I don't know. How do you feel about doing a job in this area? Oh, I don't know. It's important for you to figure out how you feel and to be able to put a label to that. I mean, even if you are feeling bored or restless or uninspired, describe that for yourself. It's really important that they're able to do that, I think. And, you know, we're not asking for the world, we're not asking for essay-long things. We're just asking for you to describe yourself and how you feel, because if you can't do that for yourself, no one else can kind of do that for you. Like, it took me to the age of like 25, 26 to be able to articulate the woman that I am and be confident in that. Be like, okay, cool, this is who Renee is, and I'm okay with it. So give yourself that time and give yourself that grace, but give yourself that time. Don't
really
just,
give yourself the time.
To really just sit down, even if it's to be in silence. Like, a lot of the times, you know, when we go through challenging situations, we're kind of just moving on to the next thing or maybe suppressing it, but sit in that uncomfortable silence. Be uncomfortable. Feel maybe those feelings of regret and shame. Can we bring back shame? No, I'm joking.
No, you're saying some important things.
Yeah, because when we don't want to feel shame, when we don't want to feel regret, then we're not kind of looking at what the actions are that led us to that point. And then we cannot divert ourselves from those negative experiences. So sit in that place of uncomfortable silence or regret or whatever that is, and figure out, okay, how do I feel? Describe it. And then make those notes about how not to get to that place again. I think that's the best thing that I could say as generically as possible.
That was a brilliant answer, knowing yourself. And again, not being too hard on yourself, but also being accountable for yourself. And that means how you use your words, how your words are affecting others, questioning why you are responding in this way, really taking time to assess yourself, and then, like you said, sit in silence and give yourself time, give back to yourself in the way that you'd give back to a best friend.
Yes.
And that means patience. And I think that's a great note to end on, and I'm looking forward to some of the great work that we're going to be doing in the community. I'm looking forward to the 27th of June. People, tap into the event. It's going to be on Renee's Instagram page, Croydon Community Leaders. This is on my Instagram page, Ryan Lee Therapy. And again, I want to thank you for being on my platform.
Thank you.
Continue to do the great work you're doing. Continue to help others in ways that are going to benefit them for their future. Continue to give the younger generation hope, and not just the younger generation, adults, because you work with adults too.
Yes, we do. Yeah, that's really great too.
So again, people, look out for some of the work that myself and my CIC Express to Progress and Croydon Community Leaders are going to be doing. Thank you for tapping in, and I hope you take something from this interview.
Thanks, guys.
See you on the 27th of June, yeah?
Thank you. Okay. And exhale.
And breathe.
No, let's shake it off again. Come, let's SNS. Come.
Let's have a little shake.
Oh.
Shake it.